The wind will carry dandelion seeds, songs, and stories far afield, and it also guides gentle travelers to its realm. Welcome to Mondstadt. A poem says that a star once fell to the earth, forming this lake, while other tales say that even the stars would descend to apprehend this sight, which shines as brightly as the animal archon's eyes. This plain bathes in an everlasting breeze. An ancient monumental tree left behind by an ancient heroine speaks softly amidst the winds. A peaceful and idyllic suburban town. It has a long history of hunting, of sweet spring water, and of passing down the legend of a beneficent spirit dwelling within the waters. Filled with the fragrance of grapes and wine, this is the estate of one of Mondstadt's distinguished houses. It has conquered drinkers the city over with its unmatched wines, and is in some ways the land to which all who love the bottle must make pilgrimage. A place managed by the devoted adherents of the animal archon. It was once a palatial estate from which the aristocracy flaunted their authority. The library with the most books in all of the northern lands, other than those collected in the restricted section. All of the books here are open for public reading. The ruins of an ancient amphitheater. 1,000 melodious winds gather here, bringing with them countless tales and carrying those tales far and wide. Hundreds of years have passed, and the world is once again at peace. This forest of blades stands as testament to the song of clashing swords, the battle hymns of warriors, the thundering footfalls of monsters, and the crimson sky as red as blood. The one who once dwelled in that lonely tower is no more. The murmuring winds that shroud in the desolate city tell of the most ancient of stories, which no mortals now remember. They tell of their erstwhile master, the nameless wind sprite, and the oak chorus and caused the tower to quail. A prosperous port city where 1,000 ships drop anchor, under the aegis of countless contracts and regulations. Innumerable goods change hands and grace the seven nations with their presence. Welcome to Leyte, wayfaring traveler. Here lives those merchants who have made it. Here the residents are prosperous and carefree. Here the lights are bright and never go out. The ever-pulsating heart of Leo harbors that pumps blood into its veins. The lively city seen here is the source of Leo harbor's limitless vitality. Far from the bustling harbor, the Yujing Terrace rises along with Montaigne. Here the Genshin and the leaders of many enterprises tirelessly drive Lilia's prosperity and stability. The inn that stands at the northern end of Deer March seems to serve as something other than a resting place for guests. They say that Wangshu Inn is a haven for lovers' moonlit rendezvous. Folk stories also have it that even ones as august as the Adepti sometimes bask in the moonlight here. This is where the shifting of the wavy silver grass and the croaking of frogs join in song. It is also the final resting place of many a martial nomad. Once this was a thriving city where a certain flower bloomed in abundance, but all dreams must turn to waking. This earthly paradise was consumed by war, and those who gathered here were once again scattered. Mighty Kunshin gently cradles this peaceful village, silently protecting the old, the young, and the abundant croplands within its embrace. The legend of the ancient threat subdued beneath the mountain has been co-signed to legend along with those who know of it, never again to return. They say that the Adepti dwells somewhere within these countless towering cloud-ringed peaks. Few mortals may set foot here. A strange tree whose branches flow with clear, cold moonlight. Perhaps its roots, which reach deep into the heart of the earth, are connected to something that waits an opportunity to once again emerge and bask in the moon's light. These stone spires poke out of the clouds like great pavilions, Though this place is forbidden to mortal steps, such a beauteous sight is bound to attract the eyes of those who yearn for the sky and for those who dwell in Adepti realms. Legend has it that a deep, pure affection filled with this ancient garden, creating the Loei Pill as it is known today. The proud, lonely stone mountains here are said to have been the place where Rex Lapis subdued a great sea monster. They say that those sensitive of heart can sometimes hear a strange, stirring rhythm emanating from deep within the oceanic abyss, the junction between Leo Harbor and the great mines of the chasm. Work has ceased here as of late due to a shifting deep within the chasm. The land of hidden jade, but the war of ages past is long over, and the mountains of glittering jade have long been destroyed. Now only the whisper of flowing water remains. A ruined tower amid a verdant field, it still stands defending a bygone age long returned to dust. 9 shackles of stone were said to have been laid down deep in the valley's occasion slope to drive off evil and cleanse the world. When I first came here, the miraculous, terrifying geography silenced me. I've never forgotten the sense of utter awe and respect that I felt. But even such wondrous visions become monotonous after too much hustle and bustle on behalf of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Speaking of which, I must thank the traveler for helping me continue with my own adventure. This is the site of the deadly battle between Ashtaha and Rex Lapis. I'm just a young and inexperienced venturer, and writing is not my forte, but I cannot help but stand in awe of this place. How small we mortals are before time, which respects neither night nor day, or seven who can shake heaven and earth. I once grew up in the mines of Mania Village. The miners' rowdy labor, their joys and sorrows, those encompassed by entire childhood. Looking upon those underground tunnels, far more vast yet silent and deserted, these memories of yesteryear resurface in my mind, albeit sadder and more loathsome. The miners sealed the tunnels that led further when they dispersed, but they did leave one mountaineer here. Perhaps it was the orders of the higher-ups. It's not as if it would be practical to separate Louis' mercantile pursuits from glazed sand crystal for too long. As I was exploring by myself, I discovered this waterway. The waters here are clean and cool, perhaps for taking a break and wash all the ill fortune accumulated on the way off. There are some elemental creatures nearby who move most slowly, rare beings who have no quarrel with the rest of the world. I drew the waterway on the map. I hope the traveler can follow it and find this place. The crystal that was once here was the very same culprit that caused the closure of the chasm back then. Its strange movements have again caused the Ministry of Civil Affairs much distress. Fortunately, the traveler was on hand to return it to a place deep below, leave us with nothing but this empty, grim hall of stone. As I was traveling, I discovered this vast and terrible ruin. Perhaps this is all that remains of an ancient civilization that was punished and destroyed. This ancient city seems to resist the presence of any outsiders. It might even have something to do with those black crystals or that mud-like substance. I stayed for a while, but I had to leave its ominous, upended silhouette behind. An underground cavern where a strange, gigantic mushroom grows. I could have sworn that I heard something strange calling to me. Perhaps it is just an illusion or a hallucination, in which case this place must be full of poisonous gas, and I must leave as soon as possible. If one follows the Bishu River upstream, the prosperous merchant port built next to a vast waterfall will come into view. Here the laughter of countless sailors and merchants and the calls of the people buying and selling on every street form a unique scenic tapestry here at Leo's northern edge. An Adeptus abode, far from the din of mortal comings and goings. In the distant past, it is said that the ancestral peoples who had lost their home due to the war were taken in by an Adeptus named Fusion, and here did they avoid the disaster that raged without. Thus did the flame of civilization endure rather than snuffed out under titanic floods. Jade shall rise from the sinking mouth. Calm and loss are indestructible, rise and fall inseparable. War and wane is but a dream. The river flows as it ever has. In days gone by, when Gurren was at the height of his strength, various heroes from all walks of life would gather here, mingle and drink, and the sound of song would never cease. Though the school's reputation has since waned, its magnificent hall stands inscribed with the chivalry of yesteryear. The way wind blows yon dark day is dark, the cascading falls slow, clear. In the tales told by older folks, the ancestral people of Chenyu Vale migrated here from the far south, and they built a mighty ritual tower to touch the heavens and left many mighty temples. However, the Jade Tower is no more, and only silent ancient ruins stand amidst the thick fog that shrouds the mountains, watching over a secret none now shall know. Though stalwart stone may sink, it shall return rightly. In the long-forgotten mist of time, the ancestors of Chenyu Vale named this place the Hanging Garden. Once prosperous realms become divided into many tribes, and the tribes would later again unite into a prosperous realm. But the spirit veins of Chenyu Vale are as they ever were, gathering faithfully in this place. Once this tree gets a bit larger, I'll take its leaves and make sure to sound tea for all of you. When the gentle spring sun and winds caress the mountains of Chenyu, there will be the rich fragrance of tea being accompanied by the dance of the spirits in flower, just in days past, drifting together through peaceful streets. The final jade fell from here into the bottomless abyss. Here did the first wish become as but a river of smoke. Legend has it that hundreds of years ago, Hiragi Hiroshi of the Kanjo Commission miraculously built a prosperous trade center from a deserted island and greatly impressed the shogun. In the days when the Saku decree was in force, the headquarters of the Kanjo streets were no longer the bustling appearance of a century ago. Perhaps this is the best reflection of the business of mortals. Those who become successful overnight will also lose everything in a day. The many streets and lanes of Tenryou intersect and cross paths, and finally gather in front of the Taishivaku, the undisputed center of power in Inazuma. Under the eternal and silent gaze of Her Excellency, the Ogosho Shogun, the people living in the hustle and bustle of the city will need to chase and compete for their aspirations. Well, what is the view of the eternal paradise that the Shogun desires? The outskirts of Inazuma City exude a time-worn and leisurely atmosphere as you make your way up the old paths. It seems that the prosperity of the city has but influenced the scenery here. The power and grace of the shogun can also be observed here, bringing a quiet and different kind of vitality. Legend has it that in the past, this sacred forest was once home to many. To this day, the legend of the Tanuki Bayashi still surrounds this tranquil woodland. The Grand Narukami Shrine is located at the peak of Mount Yogo and is the largest shrine in Inazuma, guarding the sacred Sakura. It provides much needed comfort and peace to the people of Inazuma in these unsettling times. This ring of islands surrounded by jagged rocky terrain is the perfect topographic barrier to the shogunate's smelting facilities. The magnificent giant blast furnace here is used to produce a steady stream of high-quality jade steel for Inazuma. However, recently, due to the war, the mica furnace that drove the production has been damaged. Legend has it that during a disaster hundreds of years ago, Kuja Shoyori, a mortal general whom Her Excellency valued greatly, built a battlefront fortress in just one night and fought valiantly against the forces of darkness, flying the banner of Electro Medicodome high. Hundreds of years later, the descendants of the Kojo family have also inherited outstanding military and engineering skills. In the ancient language of the Inazuma ancestors, Nazuchi means to be tenderly caressed by the hands of the seven. Ironically, Nazuchi Beach has been ravaged by war since 1,000 years ago and has become a place for scavengers and pirates with few inhabitants. According to legend, the blow that brought an end to the serpent was struck right here. Even to this day, the remnant reverberations of lightning continue to ring across this deep canyon in Yashura Island, as if the spirits of thunder still chattered about the legendary scene that tore through the sky and the earth thousands of years ago. According to legend, the giant serpent that once ventured into the deep sea was finally slain on Yoshuri Island. It is also said that when the sea breeze passes through the eyes and sharp fangs of the giant snake, sounds of a whistle will ring in the wind. That is the requiem it composed for itself. Now this requiem also provides repose for those who have fallen or who were displaced in the war. The laughter of the old days and the cries of were at the last lost to the thunder. The people of today only remember that this place was abandoned due to the furious unchecked storms. This rundown Atakaboon warship was mighty once upon a time, and its remains marked by starlit tears. One can still vaguely see the image of a vessel proudly sailing, blessed by the shrine maidens and villagers of a bygone age. The great battle where the sea and sky changed color had become lost to time, but the vast storms that were called upon at this time still remain. This is the center of government and religion alike on Watatsumi Island. Shells and skerries flank the palace in which the relics of the serpent. An ancient village on Watatsumi Island, it is said that the ancestors of its people came from deep within the waves. It is also an important rallying point for those who are opposed to the vision hunt degree. The entrance to Economia. The water in this pool shine year in and year out with light akin to that of the moon, hence the name moon-bathed. Perka Chakabo, Kabushi, Kawaii! We slumber together in a spider-talk nest of fog. The heart that was nearly awakened has now long gone silent once more. Before there was law, sins already ran rampant above the waters. But without law, how can sins be forgiven in the name of sin? Beneath the verdant Barrow Mountains is the welcoming home of the Milesians. Little homes of fantastic and odd design are omnipresent, having a deep impression, though just who taught them these unique or architectural styles? Where the Spinaду Risula was born. Just as the tiny chick that will one day become a soaring eagle is hatched from an egg, so are grand and radiant ambitions hatched in a dark and cramped place. The people of Pojon are likely the residents of the Flivicentra, and from the history of these places they understand that some things are worth being, and indeed must be, fought for and bought by blood. The once prosperous avenues and alleys have now vanished into the depths, along with all that was worthy of praise. Now only schools of fish parade through the promenades, along with the lonely sound of the tides. This city alone stands above all waters. A tainted shadow hidden beneath the clear waters of Montaigne, a place of rest for outcasts. Even the ashes and the dregs cast off by the sifting of the law all return to the same river. A jawbone as massive as a mountain that could seemingly drink in and spew forth the tides. It is difficult to imagine such a massive creature ever walking this world. In this ancient ballad, the knights searching for water most pure encountered the spirit here, and they embarked upon a journey of redemption together. 1,000 years pass like dewy and doe, and whether laughter or tears, joy or sorrow, It all turns into a whirling illusory dance, disappearing into a sea of applause. Salsa once painted the scenery here. From Mount Antominakai, one can see the ridge of Alinus. Beneath the peaks and lakes, the homeland of the Melazines is hidden. Salsa once painted the scenery here, a beautiful seaside village whose peace and serenity evoke yearning for such a tranquil life in those who see it. Following the white ironclad flagship, like tiny shimmering stars scattered through the velvet night, the battleships of the Armada sank into the bowels of the trench and their clash with the great beast. The surface and the depths are haunted by ghostly legends, but this makes it the perfect place to hide for those who seek secrecy. When excess intelligence and passion came together, research brought about results in a matter that surpassed everyone's expectations. Now, however, there remains no one to applaud that achievement. No matter what the sin is, shall eventually be lost to the waves like sand. A fastness of bronze and iron will collapse one day, but a city of law and justice will never fall. The aftershocks of that incident could not completely destroy it, and it would continue to exist in a form contrary to its original design. Perhaps this might be considered a form of continuation as well. A white ship that once glittered in the sun has now utterly rushed away. There are as many tales to be found here as currency, but outlanders who would step inside are as far as the moon. The main port leading to other nations. They say there was once a plan to build a fourth aquabus line that would connect Lumidas Harbor and the Court of Fontaine, but this plan died with the aquabus's most powerful hacker. There are many beautiful and moving legends about Petrichor, but none of them have changed life in this little town. Whenever the sea breeze carries the sound of the evening belt away, the townsfolk know what another leisurely dew has passed. The conductor bereft of music once lamented a past that could never return here. At the end of all greatness and glory, many secrets they uncovered here, but no answers. There is a capital under the sea. This great cavern that sank beneath the waves was once a prosperous royal port. If the ancient bells tolling could pierce the barrier of ocean, lost souls may yet find their homeward road. The dazzling anchor once ran through the waterways to the great lake in the north, carrying justice and gladness all across the high sea. That was Pax Memoria, a wondrous time of glory and hope. Please grant them eternal rest, and may the light ever shine upon them. Fate is often naught but a shadow in which humans may glimpse happiness, all the better to push them upon the path to destruction. I had a dream. In that dream, even mortals had free will, and their fates were undecided. The settlement of the tribe who live alongside the Tepalosaurs, known as the Children of Echoes, whether it's the clang of artisans' hammers or the tapping of gem hunters testing the rocks, echoing sounds can be heard throughout the canyon. The settlement of the tribe who lives alongside the Yamakosaurus, their ancestors suspended giant trees here with roots and grappling hooks being bent, hence the name Scions of the Canopy. The tribe who lives alongside the Colossaur is known as the People of the Springs, renowned for their hot springs and relaxing music. Among all the tribes, this is the most popular among visitors from afar. Here, in the name of victory and honor, may the fires of conflict be ignited. The fervor with which all souls burn shall become fuel for the everlasting sacred flame. Giant solid Philistine nails known as shadow pins. Legend has it that the Wyab of the Children of Echoes forged them from the very flesh and blood of their tribal warriors. then hung them high in this place to intimidate the ancient shadows of the depths below. Where will the struggle end and fear lose its sway? Lost, wandering souls, break free from yourselves, for ahead lies paradise of eternal desolation. A realm of purity that was hidden away, its entrance sealed in midair. Once upon a time, an all-merciful sage taught secret arts to great disciples in this place. Yet in the end, for reasons unknown, it was concealed. Long, long ago, there was an age when the earth refused to accept seeds, when flowers withered and people could no longer turn to the land for sustenance. Instead, the ancestors of that ancient area turned to the Seven of Might for guidance. Amidst the creeks grows a type of fruit known as the flamingrate. It is said that all flamingrates are merely tiny offshoots of this giant mother tree. O puny people, O power-hungry race, what price are you willing to pay? What sacrifice will you make for that which you covet? Swear upon this, Xbalanque, the one who ascended to realms above to protect all beings, who bestowed seeds of flame to bring light to all beings. When your descendants return from the flames, none shall stop them. Through the blaze of battle alone can these unquiet night souls be stilled to slumber. In ancient times, there was a sage who attained such mastery at the art of fingerstone engraving that they could transform all the many meanings into graceful drifting lines. With Philistine as their medium, they used towering cities as canvases for vibrant murals that, it is said, is the origin of Natlan graffiti as we know it now. To bury the ineffable past and to unveil the future of the bloodline, someone once offered up their own heart to be the vessel that would control the entire city. After that day, when even the souls in the mountains were burnt to ash, who now watches over the city? On top of the ruins of a city built by a forgotten race, people once tried to build a new country. Now nothing is left but the ashes after the blaze, and the alliance once assembled for this purpose has long since shattered. Living with the Ichthyosaurs, this is where the ministers of the Night Wind, most mysterious of the 6 major tribes in Natlan, call home. It is said that at night the members of the tribe and their saurians use glowing patterns to listen to the echoes of the Silent Kingdom of the night. Maintaining graffiti on such a large scale requires hard work by generation after generation. It is said that once someone sleeping under the giant graffiti dreamt of a gargantuan bird spreading its wings. After passing the test, those members of the Masters of the Nightwind who are considered to be spirit speakers train here from a very young age, learning how to correctly interpret the words of the Night Souls. The floating isles, at one time shrouded in dense fog, were once sacrificial sites on the heights that towered over the land. Ultimately, however, they had been sunk into the waters to seal away the evil that had seduced the masters. The great priest placed the mirror on the ground, forming the cliff walls here to hold back the black tide. It is not known why it was buried in the Sea of Clouds, nor why the ship stopped here. Though it has escaped the control of its creator, it continues to keep an ancient secret. In the deep ruins of the city now regarded as the city of ruins, an ancient race forged boundless wisdom using golden designs and commands, and stored it in stone statues to control the mechanisms of the entire city. Living with the Carnosaurus, this is the home of the tribe known as the Flower Feather Clan. Everyday members of the tribe fly with the Carnosaurus, patrolling their territory with the air. All flames were once born of this place, as all was all night light. The heroes of old shed sweat and blood in the crucible of flowing fire to return the flame rekindled by the light of today. The settlement of the tribe who live alongside the Tachanosaurus, known as the Collective of Plenty. Volcanic ashes bestowed upon them fertile lands, whose golden harvests sway in the wind, and symbolize the rich bounty that the Collective has been blessed with. A congregation of rocks thrown into the air during eruptions and left floating by abundant gaseous flumes. After years of accumulation, the once scattered debris has formed a collective whole. It has been said that they, like the upper sanctum, are the brushstrokes of the sage of the stolen flame, though this may be baseless conjecture. An ancient city once sealed by a fragile oath, stirring feebly like some bleached bones rattling in the wind. What fateful conclusion will be set in motion by its final death throes? It is said that a mighty ancient race once gained the knowledge they needed by submerging themselves in rich flaming pools. It is also said that a weak and feeble race once attempted to do the same, only to be met by failure. Ultimately, it was a once benevolent sage who gave them the means to endure the knowledge they sought. Golden runes divide light into multiple forms. Faintly stone drawn by mighty power serves as a vessel in countless layers. Constructed stars float in the palm of a colossal hand. A meeting hall in prosperous times where dragons once crafted innumerable arcane arts and mechanisms. When their masters departed, it became a place of judgment where dragons cast down dragon. The heart of the sacred mountain. Hidden deep within its depths and hollow in the great dragon itself, chosen of dragons, returning the shadow in the eye and call forth the sacred flame to cleanse the world.